Good morning, students. Today we have to start with the topic that is small intestine. Now the question arises, what is the basic difference? Why it is known as small intestine? Because its width is or its diameter is less than the diameter of the large intestine. Although it is longer in size as compared to the large intestine, but then also it is known as a small intestine because its diameter is less than the diameter of large intestine. Okay, so let's start with this topic. So the small intestine or a small bowel is an organ in the gastrointestinal tract where most of the end absorption of nutrients and minerals from food takes place. It means this is the part of the gastrointestinal tract where the digestion is getting completed as the digestion gets completed, the absorption process also for the most of the nutrients also gets completed over here. Then what is its location? It is lying in between the stomach and the large intestine, and it receives the common bile duct and the pancreatic duct from the pancreas. And in which part of the small intestine they are joining? That is, common bile duct is joining and the pancreatic duct is joining to the duodenum part of the small intestine. So small intestine's structure is, it is a long, narrow, folded or coiled tube-like structure which is extending from the stomach to the large intestine. It is the region where most of the digestion is getting completed and the absorption of food also takes place over here. The structure is, it is 6.7 to 7.6 meters long and highly convoluted. Okay. Location, it is present in the central lower abdominal cavity. So this is the small intestine. A basic question may be asked on the basis of reasoning that although the small intestine is up to 7 meters long, but then also it is known as a small intestine because its diameter, you can easily observe here, its diameter is comparatively less than the diameter of the large intestine. So on that basis it is known as small intestine. It is not based on the size. Okay, so there are three basic parts of the small intestine: the purple color one, this gray color one, and this pink color one. This part of the small intestine is known as duodenum. So the duodenum receives the bile duct from this side and receives the pancreatic duct from this side. Okay, then this gray color part is known as jejunum, and this pink color part of the small intestine is known as ileum. Now, why this part is known as duodenum? Duo, it means 2. Deni, it means 10. So 10 plus 2, it is 12. The diameter of the duodenum is of 12 fingers width. Okay, so that is why it is known as duodenum. This duodenum is attached with the stomach and it is extending on this side with the jejunum. This duodenum is receiving the bile duct. This blue color one is the bile duct. This green color one is the gallbladder. So liver secretes bile. That bile is stored in the gallbladder, and through the common bile duct this is added to the duodenum part of the small intestine. This greenish yellow leaf-like structure is the pancreas, and the pancreatic duct is also opening in the duodenum. Okay, so this is how duodenum is receiving the bile duct from the liver and pancreatic duct from the pancreas. Bile helps in the digestion of the fats and the pancreatic juice will help in the digestion of different nutrients. Okay, so once again, this we have seen. Now, why this part is known as jejunum? Jejunum means empty. So in the post-mortem situations, whenever post-mortem is done, this part of the small intestine is always found to be empty. So that is why this part of the small intestine is known as jejunum. Now about 4 meters long is the ileum. So ileum is highly twisted, highly rolled, Okay, and this part, the inner lining of the ileum, will have a number of projections, and these tiny finger like projections are known as villus. So that villus, this is the structure of villus. So this villus helps in the absorption of the digested nutrients. So digestion gets completed till the ileum, and then through the villus the digested nutrients will be absorbed and will be given to the different parts of the body for utilization. So after digestion there is absorption, and when the different parts of the body is utilizing those nutrients, then it will be known as assimilation. Okay, so nutrition is a 5-step process. First process is ingestion. Ingestion is the process by which you take the food inside your mouth. Then digestion, we will see how the digestion of different factors of the food gets done in the digestive system. Then after digestion there is absorption, and then after absorption there is utilization of the digested nutrients or absorbed nutrients. It is known as assimilation. And then at last the undigested waste material is removed from the body, that is known as egestion. Now let's concentrate about the structure of villus. So what is the purpose of villus found in the inner lining of the ileum? The purpose of villus is, it is helping in the brush border mechanism. So what is brush border mechanism? If you will take two brushes, one brush is not having the bristles and the other brush is having the bristles. So the brush which is not having the bristles, when it is soaked in water, it will not absorb water. So its weight will be same as before the dipping it into the water. But the brush which is having the bristles, when it is soaked in water, its weight will increase. And why its weight will increase? Because it will absorb the water in between the bristles. So here also the villus is increasing the surface area. So as the surface area increases, why the surface? Because it is acting like a bristles. So as the surface area increases, there will be more absorption of digested nutrients. So you understood what is the reason for the presence of villus in the inner lining of the ileum. Now what are the two structural adaptations of the villus which helps in the process of absorption? So one structural adaptation is, you are observing that epithelial cells with the microvilli. So these are the epithelial cells, single layer of epithelial cells which is very thin, and on this surface also it is having microvillus, so which is helping in the process of diffusion of the digested nutrients from the lumen of the ileum to the blood capillaries present in the villus. Now the second structural adaptation, that villus is having a rich network of blood capillaries, or rich supply of blood capillaries. So red one, the blood is flowing through it. This is the blood capillary. Yellow one is the lacteal. Lacteal will absorb the fats, fatty acid and glycerol. Okay, so the blood entering into the villus and the blood vessel leaving the villus will be rich in nutrients. So that is why it is written here, nutrient rich blood. So two structural feature which helps in the absorption. One is the thin layer of epithelial cells, and second is the rich supply of blood capillaries. Then the next is we have to see that you are observing here common bile duct, pancreatic duct, it is entering into the stomach. So this is all for today. Your homework is to write down the location of a small intestine. Then you have to write down the parts of a small intestine, why duodenum is known as duodenum, why jejunum is known as jejunum, why ileum is known as ileum. Okay, then draw the structure of the villus. Clear? What is the purpose of villus, or what is the importance of villus found in the inner lining of intestinal wall or inner lining of ileum, and Next is write down the two structural adaptation of villus which helps in the absorption of digested nutrients. Thank you everyone.